Want to cover some of the recent Deadpool issues?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I don't. The main issue that I have with him is that I don't think he gets the depth or the comedy of Deadpool. He gets he can get action and can kind of draw or think up of a cool scenario, but it's not like, oh my god, I'm rolling on the floor laughing, and oh my god, I'm intrigued. I want to see what happens next ever. So
the pirate issues, a lot of people like those, but for me they were just like,
I hated the pirate issues. I thought they were awful. Like, I really liked the Bullseye arc, and then plummeted.
Yeah, and I thought I don't know, I thought it was a great concept. I would have loved to have seen Deadpool as a pirate. I thought it would have been hilarious. But he just totally dropped the ball on it.
Yeah.
And I think, again, because he went to the point, Deadpool is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, let's take it as far as insane as we can go, to the point where we almost get him in a straitjacket.
Yeah,
and
I completely agree. Like, I think the idea of Deadpool being a pirate is absolutely hysterical. But it wasn't really funny. And the artwork, like, I didn't mind the artwork for Games of Death. Like, somehow it worked there, and didn't work for this story arc.
Agreed.
And one of the things that really annoyed me was, like, there's a part where Deadpool doesn't have his mask on, and he's, like, fighting a bunch of the pirates, but he doesn't have pupils. Like, they draw him completely without pupils, and I'm like, what's up with that? Why doesn't he have pupils? That's weird. Yeah.
No kidding. Actually, that's one thing I go back and forth with, because there's a few times I thought about doing a Deadpool mask, which I may want to ask you about later, about how you do yours. But I always go back and forth. I'm like, well, do I want to have the white, or do I want to go like the guy who was doing it in the mid Deadpool original series run, and just have the eyes there?
You got to do the white. I hate the pupil mask guys. Look,
you do?
I absolutely that's another thing that, like, talking about inconsistencies. Like, there are comics where I've seen where they've had that and then not had that in the same issue. Like, I have an issue of Iron Fist where from panel to panel his eyes will go white and then not be white, white and then not be white. And I'm like, that really easily can be consistent. Just erase the pupils out of the panel, and boom.
Get the colorist in there.
Yeah. But I like the eyes are a very human trait, and when I see my superheroes, I want them to be bigger than humans. Like, they can be humans when they take the mask off, but I don't want to see the eyes while they have the mask on.
Just curious, how hard is it to see through that?
The first mask I had, it was actually Lycra on the outside as well, and they were really big and it looked weird. But and I couldn't see through the white at all, so I had to look through the black part that was just around it. So the eyes are also a little higher than they should be. For the second one, I cut the eyes out and put some thin white fabric under it, and that worked a little better. But if you're gonna make a Deadpool mask, what you want to do is you want to have the holes where the mask is over a pair of black pantyhose and then a pair of white pantyhose. It sounds weird, but it works really well, and you can see through it really easily.
So one more time for those of us who were taking notes. Okay. That was pantyhose.
A pair of black pantyhose covered by a pair of white pantyhose under the mask with just the holes cut, with the eyes cut out.
White over black. All right.
And for the actual costume, or for the actual mask, if you know how to get Lycra, I would very much recommend it. If you don't, try and find like a red ski mask. That would work too. So.
Red ski mask. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I've actually never been to a con, but I've been thinking about. The wife finally says I could go one. She's like, yeah, maybe we can do one next year. 'Cause you seem to have fun, and people like what you do. I'm like, yeah. So I kind of want to do a Udon Deadpool Inc. era Deadpool costume.
That would be cool. Like, yeah. I always wanted to find a white suit and go as the cover from the Deadpool Inc. one, where he's got like where he's in the chair.
Yeah.
And looking like a pimp. But white suits are more difficult to get than anything. But yeah, I was looking on Marvel's website, and they have like his stats. But one that's really weird is it says energy projection, and it's maxed out. Now I'm guessing that means that he can use guns, but that's not energy projection. That's a weird thing, Marvel. Get that fixed.
Yeah. Well, they have something really funny there. I should have this here in my favorites. Why don't I? Oh, darn it. Where it's kind of like they have what they've picked, and then they have the fans picks. And there's some of the fan picks that are real strange. And on most people's stuff. And I always just kind of chalk that up to, like same thing as Wikipedia, where anyone can edit anything. Why can't I get there? Oh, I've been jumping on the Transformers wiki lately because I'm trying to collage a giant Transformers picture together for Toddler Pool. And I was going through a bunch of those. And who is it? Bone Crusher from the movie series. They've gone through and just done a bunch of really funny stuff to his profile.
Really?
Yeah, like they always comment on something. And Bone Crusher hates that. And so even at the end of it, when you're going through trivia, it says, including the next two examples, Bone Crusher hates 78 different things within this Wikipedia file. I was just laughing. They got a bunch of stuff on that. And it's funny because you can tell they're all out there screwing around. I digress. Sorry.
Yeah. But I digress back to that for a second. I watched your is Daniel 3CB channel?
Yeah.
Like your. Oh, look at this! So good. That was funny. That was really funny.
Thank you for plugging that, by the way. Everyone go check that out.
Yeah.
Head over to my channel if you guys haven't been there yet and subscribe, but there'll be a link to that over in my favorites because that's actually probably one of the funniest things I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
I've watched that like literally 8 times and I laugh every time. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a recurring character over there. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, he does good work too. So as I was just talking about making the math, like I was thinking about making videos about how to make all the costumes that I've done for season 1.
That'd be cool.
But I was like, I should have thought of that like a month ago, because like Halloween is a week away now, so people would want to make the costumes for Halloween. I don't know how interested people would be after Halloween.
I think people would be really interested in that. I know I would be interested in doing that. Like, most people I think would be.
Like that's something that I've always sort of liked to like. Where did you come up with the idea to use the mugen thing? Like that's
on that. Oh, I was I had always kind of wanted to do something animation wise. I was experimenting around with animated GIFs, doing stuff there. And I always, then I started experimenting around with Windows Movie Player. I was like, well, how can I make this into some sort of series? So then I started going on and looking at different animation programs. Most of them use Flash, and I had no idea how to do any of that stuff. And at that point, I had figured out how to rip images from the mugen character files, and it was just a matter of coming across the right program that let me put them in there and animate with them. And I was like, there we go. So it was just kind of I have almost zero artistic talent. I'm okay at editing pictures.
You hide that well.
Thank you. Like I can't draw all that well. I can edit pictures fairly well and do some decent stuff with it. Surprisingly, just with Microsoft Paint. But yeah, I can't draw any of my own stuff. So I kind of just resulted to using other people's images. Thank you everyone over at Ultimate Mugen or The Unlimited, not Ultimate, The Unlimited for making the Deadpool character so I can animate.